and welcome to episode 96 of Flix in a 6. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Costanzo. With me, forever and always, the man, the myth, the giant burning ball of gas, Alessandro Bielsi. Say hello, Al.
I really need this pint of beer right now.
Excellent. I thought you needed a pint of beer last week. On this week's episode, sequels galore, Netflix news, Comic-Con announcements, and other nuggets, all before diving into our flick of the week, The Lion King. But first, Al, what are we drinking?
I feel like I drank more than a pint last week. We're drinking Treehouse Brewing's Lights Out. I forgot that this was a Treehouse beer. I forgot that I had this beer.
I gave it to you last week.
Yes, that does sound right. But I was very excited to see. Well, because I'm used to them having like actual cans with like nice can art and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've even had one or two of like their special like reserve like bottle releases. This is the first time I've seen this that looks like the generic like the way that they do with like Crowlers, where it has like just like a slap on
slap a sticker on it. Love it.
So this is the Lights Out. It's an American Pale Ale. I actually had a Treehouse beer last night. Me and my brother and my dad split a can of green.
Nice.
Which sounds more shady than it is. This is 1 pint of alcohol that's 5.8% by volume. It's brewed in Massachusetts by Treehouse Brewing Company. Oh, that's just a government warning. That's boring.
I really thought you were going to go for it this time. According to the Surgeon General.
I should have just done it. I'm sorry. My comedic timing, while often good, is not perfect. Well, I guess there's no point in beating around the bush. Let's just drink it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That was very thuddy. It was a thuddy clink.
Yeah, those glasses that you have like really deaden sound when you try and clink it.
Yeah.
This is nice and clean and crisp. I was going to say cream and crisp.
Yeah. You're on fire today.
I really need this pint.
This is delicious. I've already had 2 of these, if I'm being completely honest. Not today.
Oh. I thought you meant today, and I just assumed that you wanted to keep the ball rolling, and that's why you chose it.
Really
I
get
could taste.
deep.
I could taste the notes that are quite similar to what I was drinking yesterday with the green. This is got similar genealogy for sure.
The fragrance is so lovely. This is this is my wheelhouse.
Mine's still a little bit too cold, so I'm not getting a big fragrance. I mean, it's pleasant, but I have to really get my nose almost in the foam.
I had mine sitting out for a little bit, so it was good.
Yeah. Well, as always, whenever you make some sort of comment, my line always gets cut off right after you take your headphones off when you're walking out of the room.
Yep, naturally. But
it's okay. I'm sure there'll be plenty more. Oh, no, well, you just said, I'm going to go pee and pour my beer. And I said, hopefully not at the same time.
Excellent. This is a 2 thumbs up beer for me, Al.
Of course it is. I mean, we love Treehouse. They haven't been as prolific on the show as something like Newberg or Jack's Abbey or like what's the one that you love we have more of to come in the weeks coming up. The New Jersey Magnify. Yeah, I think we've done 1 or 2 of them, and we still have another 2 or 3 of them or something like that.
I think we have 1 left.
Oh, I thought we had a couple more. But
we may.
Yeah. This is quick. Actually, is this? This might be the only Treehouse we've done on the show, although we've mentioned it a few times.
No, we did the purple.
Did we do purple?
It was a bonus beer. I believe it was during one of the bigger Marvel ones.
Oh.
Maybe Logan?
Maybe you're right. That's a while ago.
It's been some minutes.
The problem is I've been getting a steady-ish supply of them, but only one at a time. Like one of each type. So it has to be a together episode for us to do it.
Sure.
Sure. Those typically mark important benchmarks in our relationship.
Yeah. Much like our Cloud Atlas episode. I mean, that's one of the ones we did in person. Something that we had been wanting to do for a really long time.
Yes. Something we planned, and we executed our plan perfectly.
You can, even if you haven't seen Cloud Atlas, you can go listen to that. We avoid spoilers.
We were very respectful.
Yeah.
Very respectful to the audience last week.
Very respectful. This beer is courtesy of Frank.
Yes.
Frank,
master of astronomy.
The master of astronomy. And I think that the moon is very fitting on the can art.
Yes.
We took a little astronomy break. I don't even know if we talked about it.
I don't remember if we talked about it in last week's episode. We paused in the middle of our recording to go look at Jupiter and Saturn and the moon. No, we didn't actually look at the moon because it was going to blind us.
It was about 1:45, and I got a text from my neighbor. Hey man, not sure if you're into astronomy at all, but I've got Saturn in my telescope. I figured I'd text you because your lights were on. Sorry if you're sleeping. But I just think there was so much going on in there. But we bit. And yeah, that was I've never seen Saturn through a telescope. It was pretty awesome.
It was.
And then we saw the clouds moving on Jupiter. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I'm glad he reached out. But and I'm also glad that he gave us this, because this is absolutely delightful.
That was that was a phenomenal encounter we had.
It absolutely was.
We had excellent free beer. We got to see celestial bodies. All good time all around.
Yeah. Cheers, Frank.
Cheers, Frank.
Yeah, and as always, Treehouse, love it. I love the logo. That little treehouse in the Whomping Willow on the front.
I don't even think I processed that that's what that is, but yeah, good call.
It's pretty great. So, shall we get into some news and nuggets?
The Whomping Willow. Which I totally prepared for, and I'm not going to stall for time right now to try and find out.
For sure. No, don't you worry about it, because I've got a number of things to go over right off the bat.
Good, because I forgot to bring that thing up I mentioned before.
There have been... I mean, we knew about most of these, if not all of these, but man, I feel like in the past week, it was just sequel announcement after sequel announcement, or just more news about whatever sequel we already knew, including, and starting off with, the It Chapter 2 final trailer, which is just terrifying, and I really can't wait to see this movie. Big fan of the first one.
Yeah,
very much looking forward to the second.
Yeah, we got a new full trailer, right?
Oh yeah, it's a big one. It's good. I'm all in.
Yeah,
I can't wait for this one.
It was interesting. I was glad that they finally gave us one of those, because
I'm glad.
Close now. What, 3?
Very
months?
close.
2 months.
I think it's 2. I'm actually not sure exactly. Is it October that it's coming out, or is it?
I can't remember if it was October or September.
I think it might be September. Could be either way. I'm excited. I'm glad I got you to go see the first one. I know you were hesitant.
Yeah, I'm just kind of indifferent to that sort of thing typically, but
sure.
No, it was interesting. I liked it well enough.
But it was like so creepy, and the acting was so fantastic. I'm a big fan of that, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Another sequel that, when I heard about it, I was just like, whatever. Didn't think that I was going to have all those nostalgic feels watching the trailer. I'm really interested in seeing Maverick.
Oh. I'm not... It's whatever. We'll do
it's whatever
it if
to
you want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen Top Gun start to finish.
Okay, so it'll be a double episode. We'll do both movies.
So I'll have to sit down and watch it, and I will. I've not purposely avoided it. I just have never.
Sure, it just never.
I've seen some of the big scenes. I've seen the homoerotic volleyball scene. I've seen the big scene where they're all singing in the bar. I've seen some of the fighter jet scenes.
You know the classics.
Yeah.
You've basically seen the movie.
Yeah,
that's fine. It's just good music, entertaining. I'll be rewatching the first one this weekend, and I'm excited to see the second. Cruising right along. Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Did you see the trailer?
I see what you did right there. Cruising right along.
I thought you were just going to let it slide.
No. I had to call that one out. That was good.
Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Did you watch that trailer?
Yes. Yeah, I did. I texted you. Wait, was that the one that I texted you that had way too many colons in the title?
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Because I know that drives you nuts. I got about 4 into it.
It does drive
Jay and
crazy.
Silent Bob, the reboot, colon the reboot, colon the sequel, colon the something else.
Yeah, colon the remake. It looks very silly. I mean, it's exactly what I expect from rebooting, sequelizing that movie.
I mean, by definition, Jay and Silent Bob are very silly, so...
Yeah, but you know what it is, though? The clout that Kevin Smith has to pull in all of the names again and then some, because there's a lot of great folks showing up for this one.
Jason Lee's looking rough.
Yeah, he is. But there's also a number of folks that he's worked with on the CW shows. So,
oh really?
Yeah. So you got Supergirl, Flash, things like that.
Oh, were they in the thing? I didn't even recognize.
They're going to be in it. I've only read their names as appearing. So we'll see how that plays out. But man, it's been a while since we've gotten one of his like Kevin Smith movies, like his real
View Askew-verse?
The View Askew-verse. Yeah, like it's been a while since we've gotten that, and I'm really excited to get back into it.
What was Clerks 2 in 2005, 2006, something like that?
Yeah. Oh my god. Was it that? Was it?
I'm pretty sure. It came out when I was in high school, because I remember I hadn't seen any of them before, but I remember the promotional material for that movie.
I think you're right. I thought it was in college, but I could have been. I think it was in college. Anyway. It's been a while. Regardless, it's been a while. So, looking forward to that. Looks very silly. There was some sweet posts that he put about like kind of reconnecting with Ben Affleck, which I thought were fun to read if you follow him on Instagram.
Why, did they have a falling out?
Yes, they did.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, and but there's they kind of just reconnected and did this together. So I'm glad that he's getting all of the faces back in it, because it'll be a lot of fun. Here's a thing that I don't think anyone asked for. Cats.
You know what? I totally forgot to put that on the rundown. And what's more is I didn't even get to do the prep I wanted to, because I saw this last week. And because we didn't record last week, because we had pre-recorded last week's episode, I just filed it away in the back of my mind and then completely forgot about it. I watched part of the trailer, but I couldn't watch it with the volume on. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to come back to and watch this. And then I saw all the reaction on the internet, like live as it was happening. I was like, oh my god, everyone hates this. And then people started doing the thing where they were mocking it by putting it to other music as the backing thing.
Oh god.
And someone said, if you weren't already horrified enough, I found something way worse for you. And it was the Cats trailer with the Annihilation trailer music behind it.
No!
And I was like, oh, I have to watch this one and send it to Anthony, and we'll do the thing where we watch it during the show. And I totally forgot to find it and send it to you. I totally forgot to watch it.
Terrifying.
But you can imagine.
I was terrified. So there's this thing. There's like random movies and random characters that just haunt my dreams, and no real reason, like other than they're just like slightly creepy, but for whatever reason it grabs onto some part of my brain. It makes me very uncomfortable. Edward Scissorhands is one of those characters, right? I find him terrifying. I think we've talked about this before. I don't like the movies. Whatever.
And I feel like you're a bigger Burton guy than I am.
Yeah, I find that character, and I love Johnny Depp in a lot of things. I can't. He just creeps me out to no end. Like I can look at Michael Myers and not be creeped out. I look at him, terrified. So that's just one random thing. Everything about that trailer terrifies me, and it's just I don't know what it is. I think it's like the whatever CG is going on with the faces, along with their mouths moving and the hair. It's just very weird.
Well, the best part was I was kind of half watching it as it was getting started, and I saw the one scene where like I think it was like the girl was running up to the gate, and two other cats like swing into like screen and they're like in the gate, where she's like, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now?
And there's one scene of the cat on a bed, but it's a giant bed because it's a human cat. And it's supposed to be small, but nothing about the scale works, and it looks horrifying. It looks like you're in a funhouse, and nobody wants to be in a funhouse.
I think the best content on it was I saw on the day after, or maybe it was later that night when the trailer dropped. The Ringer did. It was like someone did an article. It was like 66 questions I have from watching the Cats trailer.
66. And I hope they're all just why at different time stamps.
Well, some of it was like that, but also some of them were like, some of the questions were like further reiterating or like deepening the question before, like who asked for this? Again, who asked for this? Like stuff like that.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I saw Cats years ago, and I was young. I don't think I was like super critical of movies or anything at that point in my life. So I was a kid. I don't remember it being very good.
See, the thing is,
I know it was well received. I know people raved about that show.
Doesn't it hold the record for for a while it did? Didn't it hold the record for the longest like consecutive running play?
It did. It doesn't any longer. But yeah, even so, that doesn't make something good. I wonder if it was one of those things where people were just like, "What's this about? Why is this still going on?" So they kept buying tickets. That could be it.
So
maybe that's
what you're saying.
Sales are going to soar for this movie.
So what you're saying is that they Spider-Man, whatever the dark, just missed that mark. Do you remember was it Spider-Man Into the Dark or something? It had a stupid name. Dark was definitely a title.
I think was it Into the Dark? I think that might be.
It was something like that. And it was like delayed.
Turn Off the Dark?
Maybe it might have been Turn Off the Dark. I feel like I remember it being stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that title makes no sense. I couldn't remember if it was like Swing Out the Dark or something like that.
Oh, God.
And, it was plagued by the stage breaking and the actor
People
breaking because they swung wrong on the wires and delayed for 6 months and this and that. And then when it finally came around, it had a really big... Because of all the crap around it, it debuted really well commercially. Because everyone's like, what the fuck is this all about? And then no one went to see it again. And it immediately, after all of the money they poured into it, it just died on the vine.
Terrifying. It's just horrible. Just don't. Don't do that. Don't do this movie. It's just... You know what it is? You know what I'm most annoyed about is that I'm going to continue to see trailers for this for a long time. I feel like and every time it comes on, I'm going to be like, oh, God damn it.
Yeah, Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
Turn Off the Dark. That's right. Every time this one, I think I'm going to hold the pee break. Instead of going right before I go into the theater, I'm going to go when the Cats trailer starts. I think that's how I'm going to do this, to try to get past it. I don't like it. I really, it's very uncomfortable to watch. It's creepy.
Yeah.
It's creepy. I can't be the only one.
No, you're not. The internet was on fire when that trailer came out.
All I saw was Cats trailer, and I was like, alright. And I clicked it, and I watched it, I was like, nah, I don't want any of this. Horrible.
I was on Twitter, and I just saw everyone going insane. It was like a feeding frenzy.
So there's two more sequel announcements that
only two more.
I was surprised. No, but two more that I have in a row right now that I was surprised to hear about. I guess not super. I didn't know how well received the latest Halloween movie was. I know I wanted to see it and never got a chance to, and I will see it. A Halloween Kills will be coming out on October 16th of 2020.
What about the one in 2021?
That is Halloween Ends. On October 15th in 2021.
It's a long Halloween.
It's nice. Do you think... Is this it? Finally? 700 movies into the series?
You know my thoughts on this when we talked a couple weeks ago about Rambo Last Blood, maybe.
Yeah. At last we meet for the first time for the last time. Like I said, I never got a chance to see that, it wasn't a reboot, it was a sequel to the first one.
Soft reboot?
What? It's just a sequel. Why do we have to put the word reboot in there?
Because it undid a lot of crap that came after the original movie. Huh. It is a
Halloween time heist.
It is a partial reboot. The same thing with this Terminator Dark Fate, which we got a lot of info about recently, too.
Yeah.
Is also... It's a partial reboot because it's scrubbing everything after T2.
Halloween, I don't want no scrubs. Is that what you're saying? That's okay. Got it. So we're moving on. So we got those two coming out sequentially, 2020 and 2021. I think that's pretty cool. We're gonna have to see that.
I was really confused.
Second one
when that was first.
See, that's the thing. I just don't know how to talk about it.
I was really confused when I first saw the first report for that a few weeks ago because it sounded like it was getting two sequels at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like, sorry, what now? Are they going to be like, well, it's going to be one of those things where it's like they do the movie and then the other one, but it's everything that's going on around it, and then like they eventually meet up at the end, like type of thing?
That would be pretty cool.
I feel like that works for episodes of television. I don't feel like that works for movies.
Oh, I mean, it'll work for the three of us that go to see both. I'm all for it.
You mean the three of you?
Yeah, I'm all for this.
Don't drag me into this.
You're coming with.
Sounds like it's nearly as bad of an idea as Crashing Funerals.
Speaking of sequel, nice, you got it. I'm glad you did. Speaking of sequels, not sequel reboot something or others. Edward Furlong's returning to Dark Fat. Pretty excited about that.
Dark Fat, yes, I'm glad you remembered that.
So I'm glad John Connor will be making the re-return. I don't know what it's this whole time thing is really screwing with me, but I'm glad we're dismissing the others, and I'm kind of curious how it'll play out. I watched a couple of the interviews with cast members and the director, whose name Miller, right? Tim.
Oh, is Tim Miller? Yeah,
that's the one. Deadpool guy.
Yeah, Tim Miller.
Yeah,
first
Tim Miller, and and he. One of the questions they asked him is this the Terminator 3 that you wanted? And he goes, I hope so. Otherwise, what am I doing?
Well, apparently, didn't they originally want to bring, what was the guy's name? Not Tim Miller, the one who played John Connor.
Edward Furlong?
Yeah, didn't they want to get him to play John Connor in the third one as well? And it fell through and they chose that other actor?
Oh, maybe.
And also, for some reason, dyed Claire Danes' hair red?
Yeah, I don't know. They made choices after the second movie. None of them...
Red wasn't a great look.
None of them were good choices. I don't know, I keep rewatching the trailer trying to see, like, there's something about... It doesn't sit right, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. And the music and what they're doing in the trailer is too much like what they've recently done. But from what I heard them say, it sounds more like they are trying to have it a little bit more horrifying, a little bit darker, back to the roots, R-rated. Like, Terminator's a scary movie.
Well, you know what they say about the definition of insanity, right? So, 3, 4, Genesis, Salvation, whatever, they didn't work. So continuing to do that doesn't feel like the right course of action.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. The first Terminator is not an action movie. It's a horror movie.
It's a horror movie. Yeah. And the second movie is just it's just a really dark movie.
Yeah. Well, it's an action movie with elements of horror,
Yeah, just dread, really. And I'm curious to see how they get back to those roots. Because that's what the claim is, that it's going to feel more like those movies.
Well, James Cameron is involved, right?
Yes. Producer of some kind.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably doing the Lucas episode 5 and 6 thing where he's kind of looking over everyone's shoulder type of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. If you can fix this and you can do justice to the series, great. All for it. Some of the new stuff is pretty cool though, like the new Terminator. And then the new maybe Terminator, maybe not Terminator, human with metal underneath. I'm not really sure what she is. They try to ask
someone who's the product of human-cyborg relations.
Weird.
So I just when C-3PO's job description went wrong.
Right. So anyway, Dark Fat. I'm more looking forward to it now than I was before. I mean, I was in before just because I like the concept of wiping away that.
But now you're fully in.
Now I'm fully in, not just the tip. So the other thing that came up here, the Netflix news that I had. Did you watch that Witcher trailer?
No.
I'm excited. I want to see that.
I mean, from what I've been seeing of it, it looks like. I mean, from everything you can tell, Netflix is taking it really seriously. Are. This isn't just some of the crap that they just churn out. This is one of the things they want to stick.
Yeah.
So
high production value.
Yeah. It seems pretty
attention
obvious.
to detail. All that jazz.
I forgot that the trailer came out and I didn't get to check it out. I saw the big slew of stills that they released. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested. I don't know anything. I never played any of the games, but. I'm interested just kind of on the surface of what's going on, so I will probably check it out when it comes. It won't be the thing I'm not necessarily going to fire it up right when it drops, but within the first couple of weeks I'll probably get to it.
Now, I've never played the first two. I played a little bit of the third, and specifically speaking about The Witcher 3, by all accounts, it should be something that I really enjoy. It's just never been the right time when I've sat down to play it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to start getting into this, and I'm like, something else would happen, and I just would
You also get that intimidation factor, right? Where it's like,
it's so
like, I want to make sure I can sit down and really give a lot of time to it the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
And it's like, well, I'm not going to have a lot of time these next couple of weeks, and then you put it away for 3 months.
And you look for, like, the perfect day to play it. There's no such thing.
Yeah, I've been through that a million times.
It doesn't work. So I've been trying to throw caution to the wind with Spider-Man, and I'm just like, I've got 30 minutes. I'm going to play Spider-Man. And then I have just the 30 minutes of my life. It's so entertaining. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, by all accounts, I should love that game. I'm hoping if they can do it justice as a show, that I might be able to really get into that, and that maybe that'll turn me into wanting to play it again and actually sticking with it this time. We'll see. But either way, the show looks entertaining to me, so I'm looking forward to that. Did we know that Zombieland 2 had a title?
I'm not sure, but now that you mention it, I realize that I saw a blurb about that today, and I already forgot what the title is.
Double Tap.
Yes, that's right. I don't know if we knew that or not. I don't remember.
Do you want another one?
I mean, I wanted one 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. Like right away, I was like, oh yeah, I'd watch another one of these, and now I'm just like, maybe leave it as it is.
Well, it's just to the point where it's like, okay, like, yeah, I'm like, you got everyone back, like, I'll see it, but it's like, what took you so long?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's not gonna, because so much time has passed, it's not gonna, it's not far enough that there's like a nostalgia pull or anything like that. It's just like the other movie is still, as far as movies go, it's newer. It's not like I don't know. It's not like if Terminator 2 was the last Terminator they made, and they didn't make all the other garbage, and this was to come out, it'd be like, holy shit. It'd be like that Star Wars
10 years is long enough to allow them to reconfigure the story in a new way that 10 years of context can offer. Because they can't make a joke and be like, oh, like it's happening like a year later. Like, it's going to have to be like, oh, these guys have been around for a while, because what's her name is grown up a lot since, like, she was like 14 when she was in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. How amazing would it be if you bought a ticket for that and went to go sit down and it's just the first one again?
No, I would be a little frustrated with that because I've seen it a million times on like TV, so I could just go do that again.
So I've got one more thing.
This isn't the type of movie that you like go back to see in the screen. Like, it's not like the 40th anniversary of Jaws. Let me see.
No, I just meant like the balls on them if they did that. Like if someone did that.
You are correct. That is this show's sensibility.
So the next thing I'm going to do is going to lead into what I believe you have a list for is Mahershala Ali, and that is very exciting to me. It's something that I asked for.
Mahershala Ali? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I called this a long time ago. I asked for this a long time ago.
I don't recall.
Very excited to see this.
I don't remember us ever talking about Blade, so that's why I don't recall.
It is somewhere back in our 95 episodes. But man, that's a good choice. I don't just say that because it was my choice.
He might be too tall.
What? He's too tall?
I mean, what's this? Snipes isn't tall, so...
Yeah, but Tom Cruise isn't tall either. They make him work as a tall guy.
That's the opposite.
Yeah, so they could reverse it. Perspective, man.
Well, the only thing is, maybe I'm stuck... Don't get me wrong. I'm fine with him playing whatever. But I feel like Wesley Snipes kind of embodied that role, and there's an element of it that's really cool, like, especially in the first two movies. He did a lot of his own stunts, and he had the physicality for the role. I don't know that Mahershala Ali will have it. You know what I mean?
I think what you're failing to focus on is Marvel, current Marvel, is making a Blade movie.
No, that part of it is interesting.
With Mahershala Ali. This is not going to be bad.
I mean, he's already been in, well, not quite the MCU per se. Like, he's MCU adjacent.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
with teeth.
Yeah, no. If anyone's gonna find a way to figure it out, they will. I get it, but like, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, it is a very physical role that would seem to require someone with martial arts skills to do at least some of the scenes. You know what I mean?
Do we know if he has those?
I don't, but I've also never heard about it in any way, shape, or form. I've never seen him do any... Typically, people with those sort of skills do that in other roles. I've never seen him do that. Though I haven't seen everything he's been in. Although,
what if we just find out he's just this martial arts master?
I mean, he very well might be. I couldn't possibly tell you.
Green Book would have been a very different movie.
I just think it's interesting that I guess the MCU's getting canonically vampires now.
Yeah.
Which, that's an odd jump. I wasn't expecting that.
Do you think they're going to... I feel like there's going to be a very interesting way they weave that in.
Oh, I'm just wondering, do they decide to keep this character and whatever they're going to do with it at arm's length? Like, are they just not going to acknowledge it? Like, where it's like, these are things, but like, we're not going to talk about it in Avengers.
That's a good question.
Because I feel like that's opening a weird kind of worms to add actual vampires in. Like, can you imagine Peter Parker getting bitten by a vampire? Like, an actual vampire.
Do you think that they could make some play with, like, the wild cosmic energy doing something?
Or Colin Robinson energy vampires.
Yes.
You need to watch the rest of that show.
I do.
I need, first of all, two things. One, I need someone to talk about the show with because I have no one to talk about it with. Two,
I really liked the first
episode. You really liked the episode.
Hey, man, I'm doing something else for you right now. I'm watching Scrubs, and I'm really enjoying it.
I don't see how you couldn't.
It is so good. It's damn near perfect, and I'm only 2 episodes in.
It is definitely my favorite comedy of all time. I love that show.
It's very well. You know what it is? It's not only is it very funny, and the dialogue is hysterical, the inner monologue stuff is brilliantly executed, and the writing of the actual episodes is fantastic. Like the setups, the storylines, the plot, everything's great.
Well, Bill Lawrence is a legend, and that is one of his Rushmore shows.
So good. So, do you have the other Marvel news handy?
I have it all.
Nice.
This is an article on Entertainment Weekly, and I'm just going to skip all the beginning parts, but I'm going to take you chronologically the release dates that we have.
Sick.
Because that's how it's presented to me. Black Widow, May 1st, 2020.
Did we have any details about when that takes place? Is it a prequel movie?
Black Widow may have met her end in Endgame, but Scarlett Johansson is reprising her role as the morally complicated spy in a solo movie. The character has appeared in... What? What's that?
The man, the myth, the morally complicated.
Where we find Natasha in her life at this point is very specific. She really is in a dark place when she's got no one to call and nowhere to go. She's really grappling with her own self when something huge explodes and all the pieces are landing, and you have that moment of stillness where you don't know what to do next. That's the moment that she's in. In that moment, you actually have to face yourself. Joining Johansson are Florence Pugh as a fellow assassin named Yelena Belova, and Rachel Weisz as a woman named Milena. Yelena and Milena, fantastic.
That won't be difficult to talk about.
No, of course not. Who has also been through the grueling Black Widow training program multiple times. O.T. Fagbenley, sorry. From The Handmaid's Tale, also appears as a fixer named Mason, who he says has a long history with Natasha. Also, David Harbour, from Stranger Things, who plays Alexei Shostakov, a.k.a.
I love that man.
a.k.a. the Red Guardian, is a costumed hero created by the Russians as a communist counterpart to Captain America. So who will Black Widow be facing off against? Footage shown at Comic-Con revealed that the film's primary villain is Taskmaster, a notorious mercenary and villain who, in the comics, can perfectly replicate any fight move he sees.
Interesting.
Is one of the known cast members hiding under Taskmaster's mask? Or is it an actor we haven't met yet? We'll have to wait to find out.
Interesting. Now, at some point, do they end up in Budapest? Is what I need to know. Is this where we find out?
Well, a lot of people are wondering, and they've been keeping it very tightly under wraps, whether Jeremy Renner will be in this one or not.
Can if I'm being honest, I don't ever want to see it. No, not that movie. Just whatever happened in Budapest. I just want it to be this thing that the two characters share. I don't need to see it. Like, I like that it's a thing between them.
Over the course of multiple entries, you'll have this long-running joke that there isn't quite the payoff you expected?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't, if I'm being honest, I don't care about this movie.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
The character has never been very exciting to me. She only, I feel like, nailed it in the final film. And that's because, like we talked about, it's the first time they actually gave her something to do.
I'll just say this. We had a lot of the same conversations about Chris Hemsworth and Thor until Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
so
okay.
Maybe this is their chance to get it right, just in the same way.
Either way, David Harbour's getting me in the door, so...
and then we have, in fall of 2020, is the Disney Plus show, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The Marvel Cinematic Universe will soon be coming to the small screen. It's got starring Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. It's scheduled to debut in fall 2020. The series will follow Mackie's Sam Wilson, now carrying Captain America's shield, and Stan's Bucky Barnes as they team up against Daniel Bruhl's Baron Zemo. We last saw Bruhl's baddie in Captain America Civil War, and in a pre-taped video message shown at Comic-Con, the actor revealed that Zemo is alive and well, and he wanted to say hello to some old friends.
Interesting.
And he's going to be back to having his familiar purple mask from the comics.
That's pretty cool. I'd watch that. I think that those two actors have a good rapport on screen.
They only had a couple of scenes really together, and they mostly just exchanged a knowing glance occasionally.
It's the scene in The Beetle that I'm most referring to.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Can you move the scene up? No. And just the way that it plays, I just love it. I think Anthony Mackie is really funny, so...
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, it looks interesting. After this whole thing where they started showing more information, I'm more curious about these shows now. I had been kind of indifferent when they were announced a while back.
Sorry, when does that one start?
That's in fall of 2020. Then November 6th of 2020 is the Eternals. There may be no new Avengers films on this current Phase 4 schedule, but the MCU is introducing a new superhero squad. The writers, Chloe Zhao, is directing the Eternals, about a group of ancient immortal beings watching over the Earth. Some help from them might have been nice at some point in these Avengers movies. I'm just going to say that. Right. Comics legend Jack Kirby created them in the 70s when he returned to Marvel after a brief stint at DC Comics. And the 2020 film will follow the group's clash against their longtime nemesis, the Deviants. The cast includes Angelina Jolie as Thena, Richard Madden as Icarus, Kumail Nanjiani as Kingo, Lauren Ridloff as Makari, Brian Tyree Henry as Phastos, Salma Hayek.
Who is that? I feel like I know that name.
He's in Atlanta. He's also been in something else. He's been in a few other things, because I know I keep seeing that name all around.
Okay.
He was in Widows, I think?
He was, yep.
Yeah. Salma Hayek as Ajak, or Ayak, I'm not sure what the pronunciation on that one. Leah McHugh as Sprite, and Don Lee as the big bad Gilgamesh. It's about this group of incredible immortals, but through their journeys we really get to explore what it means to be human and humanity on our time on this planet. It's a good cast.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know anything about it, and the last time that happened, it was Guardians, and I was very happy with the results.
That's what a lot of people have been saying.
I'm okay with that. I like not having the expectation.
Yeah,
it's fun. Going in blind is
also once we get a trailer and we know the tone it's striking, and can see a little bit more about who these characters are and what the particular performances are going to be. It'd be a little bit more intriguing. Moving on to February 12th of 2021 is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. It will be Marvel's first film about a superhero of Asian descent. Meet Shang-Chi, a martial arts master played by Simu Liu. Liu is best known for his role on the Canadian sitcom Kim's Convenience, and he'll be starring in The Legend of the Ten Rings with Awkwafina and Tony Leung.
Okay.
Awkwafina's role has yet to be announced, but Young will be playing the notorious Marvel supervillain, the Mandarin. Not the fake Mandarin we met in Iron Man 3, the real one.
Huh. Interesting. I wonder how that plays.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter. It was pretty funny. After he was announced at Hall H this past weekend, he himself went back and was retweeting. The actor Simu Liu was retweeting his own tweets from the past. And in December of 2018, just whatever, 8 months ago, he tweeted at Marvel, "Hey, you should cast like Asian American actors for Shang-Chi." So he retweeted and said, "Thanks for getting back to me on that."
That's awesome.
And then he found like another one from that he had tweeted in like 2015, like, "Hey, so when are we getting our first movie about this?" And he about like an Asian American hero, and he just goes, "LOL."
That's really funny.
It's good that he was kind of having a laugh about it and all. So I'm interested about that. I wonder if this will be one of those ones that maybe chooses a smaller focus than some of the other, like big, something like the Eternals is going to be like huge, right?
Yeah, like more like on the ground level, like one of the Defenders shows.
Yeah, or even something like kind of Ant-Man-esque.
True. We got like almost like I feel like they played Ant-Man at arm's length to see if it would take.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then in spring of 2021, we get WandaVision, which I will never be able to say with a straight face. Though it does sound like it's going to be something that's more important based on what I've seen, because I believe that this is supposed to tie directly to the next thing we'll get on to list in a minute. It's supposed to tie directly into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, because I believe she is going to be in that movie.
Oh, okay.
So the blurb here is Paul Bettany's Vision may have died in Avengers Infinity War, but he'll still be appearing with Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch in the new Disney Plus series WandaVision. It remains to be seen what the series will actually be about, but Olsen has promised that it's going to get weird. The show will also find Wanda Maximoff and Vision teaming up with Monica Rambeau. The character made her debut as a child in Captain Marvel, but in WandaVision she'll be all grown up and played by Teyonah Parris.
That's cool.
That was the daughter of the friend at the... but yeah, from what I understand, this is supposed to somehow tie directly into the Doctor Strange movie, and she will be in it in the way that like the Hulk was in Thor Ragnarok.
Got it.
So that movie will be coming out in May 7th of 2021. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Oh, here you go. Speaking of Scarlet Witch, Olsen will also be starring opposite Benedict Cumberbatch in 2021's movie Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, it's so funny. You can't say it smoothly because there's too many M's.
There is. Original Doctor Strange director Scott Derrickson is returning for this, and he promises that it'll be the first scary MCU film.
Ooh.
Which is smart. Pitting Cumberbatch's egotistical physician against all sorts of cosmic horrors. Cumberbatch has said that although Strange was largely an authoritative, confident figure in Infinity War and Endgame, Multiverse of Madness will disarm the character and present him with some unexpected challenges. And according to Kevin Feige, the events of WandaVision will directly tie into this film.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I wonder, they haven't said anything about it yet, I wonder if Chiwetel Ejiofor will come back for this one, because they very clearly set that up at the end of the first Doctor Strange.
I mean, he absolutely will. I can't imagine he wouldn't.
Well, the only question is whether they would put it off for him to come back sometime
to like
down
3.
the line or whatever. Yeah. Or to be in like maybe an Avengers-esque movie or
some crossover.
Like that. Then in spring of 2021 will be the Loki show. Throughout the MCU, Tom Hiddleston's mischievous Loki has served as both universe-threatening antagonist and reluctant ally, but now he's getting a story of his own. The Loki we all know and love died at the hands of Thanos in Infinity War, but the new Disney Plus series follows the Loki who stole the Tesseract and disappeared after the Avengers went back in time. The question I get asked more than any other question in Endgame was, where did Loki go and what happened to him? This series will answer where he went. According to Hiddleston, this Loki hasn't yet become the sympathetic figure in Thor Ragnarok. He's still the narcissist and bad guy we met in 2012's The Avengers. There's a lot of psychological evolution that is still yet to happen.
Interesting.
Then summer of 2021 is What If, which I believe is an animated show. Huh. Yes. It has a long history of exploring alternate realities through its What If comics line, and now the MCU is doing the same thing through a new Disney Plus series.
That's pretty cool.
The show will explore ideas like what if Peggy Carter picked up Steve's shield to become Captain America?
Nice.
And it will include the voices of returning Marvel stars like Michael B. Jordan, Josh Brolin, Mark Ruffalo, Samuel L. Jackson, Haley Atwell, Chadwick Boseman, Karen Gillan, Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Neil McDonough, Dominic Cooper, Sean Gunn, and Natalie Portman. Westworld's Jeffrey Wright is also lending his voice as the Watcher, an alien
Sean
being.
Gunn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kraglin, right? An alien being who observes different storylines throughout the multiverse.
That's pretty cool.
Then in fall 2021, I guess it's going to take 2 whole years to get Jeremy Renner away from being a rock star, they have the Hawkeye show. By the way, do you know about that phenomenon?
No.
He's got a band that does music. He's in some commercial, and he's like with his band singing in the commercial.
Huh.
Yeah, it was weird.
All right.
It's actually not terrible.
Okay.
It's like rock music.
That's... I can see it. Does he have his Hawkeye hair? His Ronin hair?
I saw it kind of out of the corner of my eye. I've only seen the commercial one time, so I'm not sure. Jeremy Renner is once again picking up Hawkeye's quiver for a new Disney Plus series. The show will follow Clint Barton as he trains a young Kate Bishop as his sharpshooting protege, and based on the artwork, it may be inspired by Matt Fraction and David Aya's acclaimed solo comics run of the same name.
Can this work? With them, I'm sure they'll find a way to make it work. It's just Hawkeye is a good supporting role.
Well, I think that's why he's getting a show and not a movie.
That's fair. That's a lot more screen time.
Yeah, but it's also lower stakes.
That's fair.
Now, fingers crossed that the show includes an appearance by Lucky the Pizza Dog. I don't get that reference.
Neither do I.
November 5th of 2021, Thor, Love and Thunder.
Yes!
Crank up the Led Zeppelin. Thor Ragnarok's Taika Waititi is returning to...
Just say no more.
Well, I have more. Is returning to direct a new adventure with the Asgardian god of thunder. The aptly named Love and Thunder will hit theaters in 2021 and feature the return of both Chris Hemsworth as Thor and Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. Plus, as Thompson revealed at Comic-Con, the film will confirm Valkyrie's status as the first openly LGBTQ superhero in the MCU. Also joining the cast, or rejoining the cast, if you will, is Natalie Portman, who will be returning as Jane Foster. This time, however, she'll be wielding Thor's hammer Mjolnir herself. Waititi has said the story will be inspired by Jason Aaron's comic book series, which followed Jane as she took on the Asgardian god's powers and transformed into the mighty Thor.
That's pretty awesome.
I saw a fun conversation about this online the other day, in which, because she played she's Dr. Jane Foster, excuse me, will only be referred... Because people were calling her Lady Thor. No, she's Dr. Thor, actually?
Yeah. That's awesome.
And then someone was creating this whole... Which would have been great which would totally be great as, like, a post-credit scene. If you had a Dr. Thor with Professor Hulk, and they were just sitting in silence, like, either doing some sort of science experiment, or someone said... The best one I saw was someone said... them all sitting around, like, grading papers together. And then Doctor Strange pops up and, like... does some magic, and the papers just grade themselves as he's like standing there doing something else and making himself a cup of coffee. Just have them do it totally in silence.
Love it. Yes, you could have said anything after Taika Waititi's directing the next Thor movie, and I'd have been like, just give me that.
Oh, that's all we really needed. You're right.
I am excited about what they're doing, though. That sounds cool.
Yeah, I'm glad that Tessa Thompson's back. I'm glad that Natalie Portman finally saw the light, and she's coming back. Maybe she saw how much fun they had with Ragnarok and everything. But I told you a while back, right, that she had some comments that she regretted how she behaved with all that stuff, and that she finally gets what it's all about. So good for her, and good for all of them.
Yeah, that's cool. I think there could be some really fun stuff there, like with her taking on the role. I don't know, then Tessa Thompson kills it in that role.
Yep.
It's so much fun. That Ragnarok is so much fun.
I've still only seen it the one time. I really need to find some time to sit down and watch it again, because I love that movie.
You'll be meeting the Grand Master in 3, 2, 1. It's that wonderful scream.
There is some wonder whether he may be back in some role in this movie. Because
just please.
Because when it was announced that day, Jeff Goldblum immediately had like retweeted it with some sort of comment that like didn't say anything specific, but people were just wondering.
Nice.
if he may be back.
What a wacko character. I love it. I love him.
I expected him to have a little bit more screen time than he did. He was fun. I mean, maybe he was the perfect dose. I don't know. I guess I assumed he could have handled maybe a couple more minutes on screen.
You can't give him too much.
This is the one you were really waiting for. Blade, release date TBD. With all the news that Marvel dropped during its 2019 Comic-Con panel. Now, by the way, chronologically, I think this was the last thing to come out because I texted you and Brian after most of the other things that I just mentioned were announced, and along with a couple of other things that were down here. And then, because I thought it was all winding down at that point, and then like Twitter erupted with news about Fantastic Four, which we'll be getting to in a few minutes. And then this was, I think, the last big thing that I saw chronologically, and I was like, oh my god, you guys, I thought it was done. There's more. Because I had given you like a brief like summary of what was going on.
Well, already though, based on like what you're saying, if the release date's TBD, you have to assume it's after most of this stuff, if not all of it.
Well, what it means is it'll be 2022 because we got down to a Thor: Love and Thunder was November of 2021.
Well, and the reason I said it though is like now if we're introducing the multiverse, then sure, maybe it's just its own little pocket universe where they explore this character. Who knows?
Could be. With all the news that Marvel dropped, perhaps the most unexpected and exciting was the announcement that Mahershala Ali will be playing a new version of Blade. According to Feige, Ali called Marvel after he won his second Oscar for Green Book and told them he'd be interested in tackling the iconic vampire hunter.
Oh, so he wants it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, by all accounts, he approached Marvel and said, I want to do this. Luckily for all of us, the studio immediately said yes. The film does not yet have a director or release date.
Mahershala Ali was like, can I? And they were just like, yeah, just yes. Come on.
Captain Marvel 2, release date TBD. Also in the works is a sequel to 2019's Captain Marvel. A release date and director have yet to be announced. Brie Larson will presumably be returning as the Air Force pilot turned interstellar superhero. Hopefully, a sequel means we'll also see the return of Carol Danvers' cat Flerken Goose.
I want Ben Mendelsohn back too.
I assume that, spoiler alert guys, his return in Homecoming means that he'll be back again in some role.
Yeah. What a great... The thing is, it's so funny because he always kind of bothered me, but now he just completely won me over with that role.
Oh, you didn't like him?
I was always like on the fence with him.
He's really good in the first season of Bloodline. I never saw the second and third season. My brother watched the whole show. For whatever reason, I don't know if it was just an amount of time. I think I watched like the first episode of the second season, and I just didn't keep watching it. But I think part of the reason was I was good with the end of the first season. Like, I didn't need another season of it. It was so good as a self-contained story that, like, I was like,
you were done. Like,
I'm done with the story. And
open and shut case.
At the time, there was no immediate, like, a lot of times when that sort of thing, like as soon as it was received, and it was received very well critically and with the amount of people watching it, that, usually you get an immediate renewal. It came down the line. They didn't need to do another show. And I heard they were fine. Dominic said he liked them. But the first season was really, really good if you've never seen it. And he was amazing in it.
All right. I think it always comes down to the... It's the clean slate speech. I think it really... it's just a hard scene to get through.
Yeah, but that's not on him.
No, I know. But unfortunately, he delivered the lines.
Yeah.
And it was... it's rough. It's, as he starts talking, you go, okay. Just...
Black Panther 2, release date TBD. Ryan Coogler is returning to write and direct a sequel.
Again.
Had to be there.
That's it. We're done.
It's expected to start shooting later this year or early next year. There's no release date yet. The film will return to Wakanda and once again follow Chadwick Boseman's righteous warrior King T'Challa.
Nice.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, release date TBD. That's also back on track. Original writer-director James Gunn was fired after old offensive tweets resurfaced, but after he apologized and cast members rallied to his defense, Disney reinstated him back in March.
Yes.
The new Guardians isn't on the Marvel release schedule yet, but Gunn is expected to go into production on the film after he wraps Warner Brother and DC's Suicide Squad sequel.
I can't. I don't understand what's gonna... Maybe that movie will be entertaining.
I mean, if there was any chance of it, he would find the way, considering that movie was very obviously ripping off what he was doing with Guardians. So it should feel like, getting into someone else's car, but that's like the same make and model of yours, where it's like, this isn't quite right, but it's close enough.
Yeah, I could drive it.
Like, I can make it work by just adjusting.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I could drive it.
Well, if I adjust the mirrors and I adjust the seat, like, it should be close enough to the right fit, you know what I mean? The weird thing is, in that thing, it didn't have anything about Fantastic Four, and I never actually saw the Fantastic Four stuff, but from what I understand, it's confirmed that they're going to be rebooting it for the MCU. I don't know that they necessarily announced a movie for it, but it sounded like that night that there was some sort of acknowledgement of them, but I don't know if they showed some sort of... Because a lot of the footage never made it out. Some of the stuff was released, some of it's kept...
Sure.
It's only, like, trades were allowed to see it or whatever, and anyone who, like, bought into the event. And a lot of times those things don't find actual public airing. So I don't know what they actually said or showed.
It's just the number 4.
It could very well have just been that. Apparently there was some acknowledgement of it, which we had speculated a few weeks back that they'll probably find some way now with them coming back to probably use some sort of multiverse type thing to incorporate them, which would make sense.
Yep. Yeah, I like that they're going to open it up that way, and then there's like unlimited possibilities, and they kind of had to, because they were like, the way that it was going, like the existing story is so, it feels kind of open and close, so like opening up to other realms and possibilities makes this stuff work in the universe that we have.
That would actually be pretty cool if, as some sort of result for like a post-credit scene of the Doctor Strange movie, if some portal opens up in like a post-credit scene and they were revealed that way.
Silver Surfer comes screaming through. No, that would be cool. Or like you just see like some sort of weird explosion and like 4 people working on on some like, man, that's a lot of information, and a lot of it is just stuff that I'm just not super familiar with. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see where all these interesting things go.
I'm surprised they didn't find some way for Deadpool to fuck up the proceedings. They've been on the record repeatedly saying they will be making one.
Yeah,
and why not? It's been a cash cow.
Just like showing up.
I just assumed like Ryan Reynolds would just like walk on stage at some point and it's not my turn. I was supposed to come out next year, and like just like walk off or something.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Or that, and like in some trailer, just deep in the background for 2 frames, you just see him like kind of poke his head out. Do the what's it called, do the Fight Club where they just splice one frame into one of the trailers? Yes, absolutely. Nice.
That's a lot. I think I spit my drink out the first time I saw that scene in Fight Club.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a lot of Marvel news, man. That's a lot to get in an hour. That's insane. I'm excited to start to see these, as trailers come out, and like, because I mean that's laying the roadmap of where we're going for a
the
while.
Next 3-4 years.
As we start to then now hone in on individual pieces of it, get some extra details, get some trailers, get some more character announcements. I'm sure there's going to be actor and actresses announcements that are still like under wraps. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Do you have any other news and nuggets?
No, let's get to it.
Now, our Flick of the Week. The Lion King, 2019 version. After the murder of his father, a young lion prince flees his kingdom, only to learn the true meaning of responsibility and bravery. It's The Lion King, guys. So, spoilers, I guess. Like, we're just going to talk about it.
Right? Spoilers for a new movie about an old movie.
Exactly. General thoughts. How did you feel about this movie?
I was a little disappointed.
I think that's fair. I've got pretty good was my assessment.
It was fun.
It doesn't The Jungle Book, in my opinion, is better than the animated movie. I like the Jon Favreau Jungle Book. I thought maybe I never expected this to beat the other one. I thought it might get a little closer. There are a handful of things that they'll do throughout the movie that we'll get into where they just slightly miss the mark here and there.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to, which is what makes it weird. It's like it's not like they just made another decision instead. They just like didn't do certain things, and that was surprising.
Also, this movie was never going to be able to exceed it because a few reasons. They elected to let everyone sing their own songs, and in some cases that elevated the material, and in other cases it detracted from the material. Whereas in a lot of those old animated Disney movies, they would hire famous singers to sing and then use the other famous actors to do the voicing. And they didn't force them to sing if they couldn't sing.
Where do you think that fell apart mostly?
Like, Seth Rogen can't sing. Like, he did his best, but he can't sing.
Oh, that's funny, because I was going to say, I actually thought they did a tremendous job with Timon and Pumbaa.
Billy Eichner can sing.
He can.
Had a really good voice.
Yeah, he did.
Really good. I was really surprised by it. Also because his singing voice is much deeper than his speaking voice.
Yeah.
It was really confusing to me.
Yeah.
But like Chiwetel Ejiofor can't sing either.
No,
it was like a Lou Reed song.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Okay, I see where you're going with that. And
John Oliver can't really sing either, I guess.
No, but it's that character. It's kind of funny to hear it.
Conversely, though, the two kids in that.
Oh my god, I have them down as like there's 3 different categories of casting that I have. There's strong, fabulous, and other. They're the fabulous category.
Well, I just couldn't believe it. Both of those kids' voices are amazing.
Oh my god, and that was J.D. McCrary and
Shahadi
Wright Joseph. Yeah, wow. What's that? Just Can't Wait to Be King. That whole jam. Like, man, was that good?
Yeah, the two of them voices were really good. You know, she's the girl from Us.
Yeah, that's fantastic. They really did a tremendous job. Let's talk a little about the casting decisions, because under Strong, here's a few that I have. I think John Oliver was perfectly casted.
The thing is, he still wasn't as good as Rowan Atkinson.
No, but he was. I think he did it justice. I think he was fine.
Well,
I enjoyed him.
This is what I had. I had them down to 2 things. I had as good as approaching as good as the previous one, or not nearly as good. No one in the cast outstripped the original versions of them.
Oh, that's fair. Totally fair.
But Billy Eichner, ably performed in the shadow of Nathan Lane. Obviously,
in a way where he almost because he also has a similar cadence. He has naturally.
Well, that's why they cast him. I assume.
He really did. He did nail it. He was fantastic. I
actually really liked Seth Rogen. Not the singing part of it, but the two of them had really good chemistry together in the same way that Timon and Pumbaa had it in the animated one. But neither of them exceeded the performance. They just lived up to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally agree. Keeping. Actually, I thought Donald Glover was great.
I thought he was fine. The thing is, what does he have? 15 lines?
Yeah, it's not. I like his voice though. I think his singing was awesome.
Yeah, but he's a professional singer.
Yeah,
him and Beyonce sang really well, but they're professional singers before they are actors.
True. Well,
I guess he's kind of 50-50.
He's 50-50. When older Nala is talking, all I heard was Foxy Cleopatra. And because it was like, you're not a voice actor, which is fine. The singing part, great. The voice acting just wasn't, there's nothing special. There was nothing like evoking the character or anything in that performance.
The weirdest thing in the whole 6 Degrees of Separation thing is that whole thing in Goldmember where Nathan Lane is sitting between the two of them. Pretending to be her, or
it's so good.
They're cut out. But yeah, no, she was fine with her voiceover stuff, but they gave her 8 lines in the movie.
So one thing that they had no choice, and I'm glad that they did it this way, was keeping James Earl Jones as the voice of Mufasa.
Yeah.
In doing so, they really should have kept Jeremy Irons as Scar.
Yeah, because I love Chiwetel Ejiofor, but
so do I.
was like blown out of the water by Jeremy Irons.
Yep. And
I will
say, I appreciate is haunting, and it wasn't haunting.
No, although I did actually like one aspect of it. There was a part right in the middle of it where he starts to project, because in the beginning he was kind of like, but the thing is, he knew that he couldn't replicate the performance that, it's kind of the same way like Will Smith doing the genie, like he knew he couldn't replicate that performance, so he chose to do something a little different, and it was the right move, even if it doesn't live up. It would have been worse. Like, Jeremy Irons totally nailed the whole, like, evil as seductive and sexy type of thing, where it's like, there's a charming aspect to it, where it's like, okay, I can see why people would be pulled under his sway, right?
Yep.
And the way he sings his own song, and he crushes it. Now, a lot of it, again, is also spoken word, but he has something of a singing voice in that.
Yeah. Well, he's got that, like, actor in a play.
Yeah, well, he's definitely done theater work, so... but I wouldn't say he has, like, a strong singing voice, but it's an adequate one.
Yeah,
so he crushes that song and the whole character. Is one of the best voiceovers of any Disney... And this wasn't, but there was one little sequence in Be Prepared where he lets the rage out.
Yeah.
And it's like a raw nerve thing where it's like... You can
as it happens, you go, okay.
And that, for just that one little segment, I was like, okay, that I can get behind, but it's the only time he lets that out until the end where everything kind of goes over the top, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, if you could have given me more of that during the course of it, but he played the whole thing so quiet and understated that it just didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
I was never intimidated by him. It was just kind of sullen and sulky.
Yeah, it was more like he was... Yeah, like sulky is a good word for it. He was kind of like playing cautiously, like with the pawns. Like, and he was... pretty much seemed afraid of everybody.
It was just super passive-aggressive.
Yeah. Whereas
Jeremy Irons, you could detect the edge to it, where if you felt like... When he says, don't you turn your back on me, he goes, maybe you shouldn't turn your back. You, in that moment, when Jeremy Irons says it, you realize, I shouldn't turn my back on this guy because I might get stabbed.
Yeah.
Right in the ribs.
You shake like one of the hyenas. Woo! Speaking of the hyenas, missed mark. They didn't do nearly...
They didn't give enough to do.
No, they didn't. It wasn't even remotely
was really good
close.
casting, and they didn't let him do anything.
And the other guy?
And Eric Andre, too.
Yeah, so they were really funny together.
But they only got, like, one scene to do it.
Yeah, it wasn't enough. And, man, I don't know if it's, like, a PC thing or not. Like, there's a different way to look at it. Ed's a great character. And they didn't have him.
Yeah.
Like, he was just, like... They didn't have, like, just the really doofy one. Like, just, like, completely confused, not getting any of the cues. Like, and it was always so silly.
Although that one little, like, gag, it was not great, but I did get a chuckle where he keeps laying down, like, on top of him, and then he gets up to the other side.
Good.
And then they call it back later. That's an appropriate amount of time.
Well, I mean, Key is just fantastic. I love him. I love him in everything he's in. he's
and that was literally the only thing they let him do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I was a little disappointed in the general lack of the hyenas, and like the payoff at the end wasn't as great because they weren't as involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about something that's driving me absolutely crazy, and that is the Stampede. Now, we've all seen The Lion King more than one time. Numerous times.
Correct.
I'm sure.
Correct.
At what point in my life am I going to watch that scene and not think, maybe he'll get out of it this time? I just don't know what... Like, I am somehow still on the edge of my seat as... It could be okay. It's a movie. It's set in stone. It's not like a random scene generator. And it somehow gets me every time.
The random scene generator just reminded me of, I don't know what your mileage has been with, I'm sure you're aware of it, Cyanide and Happiness.
Yeah.
Are you, like, familiar with this stuff, or just, like, you know of them?
I'm familiar with it.
Okay. You know that they have that card game, it's like random scene generator or whatever? I've always wanted to play that, and you just saying that reminded me of that, because I've seen some of them like posted online before. They're really funny.
Their stuff has always been hysterical. There's my old roommate used to have had a couple of shirts with some of their stuff on it. It was pretty great. But getting back to the Stampede scene. So, like I said, when is it ever going to be like? When am I just not going to get my hopes up? And
no, this is the one that he's going to make it out, and like,
exactly.
Like trip and fall maybe afterwards.
And you know what does it? You know what completely gets you. You're like completely captivated by that scene. You know why? It's fucking Hans Zimmer, man. It's Hans Zimmer. That's what, because he's a genius, and his music is incredible.
Genius.
There was I will randomly put on, like, I will shuffle his music when I'm like in the zone working on something. So I'll be working, I'll shuffle his music, and randomly there will be songs from The Lion King that come on. And you go through the entire emotional roller coaster without watching it, because you know exactly what's happening. And it's too much. It's too much to handle. I can't. Love him. I love his music so much. And I was glad that they...
you sure do.
I'm glad they brought it back. Could you imagine if they didn't do it? Like, it was like reproduced, but could you imagine if it just like wasn't the same? Like, that would have just been a mistake.
Well, they added some other song from Beyonce in the end when they were heading back to Pride Rock.
Well, I'm talking more about the score was him.
No, I'm just saying all the other cues were the same.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that they materially changed.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, man. God damn, this music's so good. The hula song. So the hula song was missing. As at first, when I noticed it was not going to happen, I immediately felt rage. And then they delivered something that was so charming that I was like, all right. And that was Be Our Guest, serving Pumbaa as the entree. Well,
it was great because like they basically kind of deployed Timon as their own personal Deadpool.
Yeah,
where he like breaks the fourth wall, right? Because he sings that, and there was the other when they show the end of the montage with Hakuna Matata.
Yep.
And they're running. This was supposed to be our big set piece, and he's taking it over. Like it's like some very meta like commentary, like, and Pumbaa gets in with it a little bit, but it's Timon driving that part of it. He says, "Well, I'm sorry, I just started singing. Well, if you don't like it, why don't you tell him to stop?" It's terrible. He just keeps going.
The only that was during Hakuna Matata, but the only thing that bothered me about that was there's the in the cartoon the Hakuna Matata, that one at the very end where as they trail off and it didn't happen. I was like, just put it in. It's so iconic. Like, why are you not doing it?
But that was great though. Yeah, start singing "Be Our Guest."
Yeah. Oh my god, so funny. And how about when they did "The Lion Sleeps Tonight," and they have the rest of the animals join in.
Yeah,
that was a nice change. I really enjoyed that. And then like they slow it down and that one creature like pops up in slow motion in midair and then comes off screen. I don't remember what it was.
No idea.
It's so bizarre. But that was a lot of fun. And Pumbaa getting chased. Oh my god. Sorry, circling back to the lack of luau scene when they're bullying him and he will not take it. That was really well done.
We need to find something that's really plump and juicy, maybe a new, and we'll send it out there. And why is everyone looking at me?
I will not tolerate a bully. Oh man, but yeah, Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen working together was they had that rapport. Also, he said when he says farted and he goes, "You're not gonna stop me."
Yeah,
that was well done. That was a silly little change.
Also, I have to say the Seth Rogen stoner laugh actually works really well for Pumbaa.
Absolutely.
I do imagine that's what a warthog would sound like if it was laughing.
Rafiki was criminally underused.
Yeah, they really watered him down.
And cut out the scene with when he whacks him on the head, like it's such a great scene. It's the learning scene of the movie. Like, why would you cut that out?
That being said, I did really appreciate that I was like, man, they're not going to give him his staff this whole time, and then they
when he pulls it out,
ceremonial unveiling of the staff.
That was cool.
I was like, oh shit,
it's about to go down. The Nala escape scene, that was terrifying.
Yes,
they did a good job with the music swell there, and trying like you were like kind of sweating like on the edge. Like, does she get out of this? Like, how is she gonna get past it? And then the abrupt Zazu when Scar goes up onto the rock, like that is startling just because it's him, and he's so very loud in that scene. But that scene got me. I thought they did a good job with that. Nice little addition or take on the scenario.
Now, I think another reason this movie didn't quite work, I was keeping an eye out for it because I saw a lot of complaints about it in the past week or so online. How did you feel about the faces being very lion realistic and not allowing the expressiveness that the animated cartoons did?
I didn't realize... So, when I got home from watching the movie, I rewatched the original, and that is one of the things that dawned on me immediately. It was like, oh, like, you didn't get it out of the character because it wasn't animated.
Yeah, the fact that the faces aren't anthropomorphized, it's tough to 100%... Like, the voice actor has to carry all the emotion.
Yeah.
And now, a lot of times they did, but they couldn't get it all, and part of the reason the original was so good is because they married those things together so well. And you can't do that with these things looking like real lions. Although there are some subtle like displays of
mostly with Timon and Pumbaa because they could pull it off with the way those characters work.
Well, especially Timon, the face is more similar to like a human face than a cat face would be. But there are some things like the look of strain on Mufasa's face as he's climbing the thing. Looks of like...
Don't bring me back here.
Like fear and stuff like that. But yes, they have to be subtle because otherwise it would be very uncanny looking if you all of a sudden broke into a big toothy grin like Sonic.
That was what I was thinking as you were going through it. If they were to go that route, the movie would have been terrifying.
Yes.
And failed miserably.
But yeah, I think that's a reason why this movie kind of falls flat a bit is because it is flat. There isn't a full range of expressive, like, emotion that you can display in that way. But on the other hand, from the perspective of do these lions look like lions, they did an incredible job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's too good. It's like I'm watching this National Geographic documentary.
Yeah. It's incredible.
That one lion's an asshole. And he threw that other lion into a stampede.
I'm picturing like a quiet British like narration voiceover now, like, and that lion throws his brother off. He is an asshole.
There's something so haunting about that scene where he digs his claws into Mufasa's paws. And it's just like it's over. You know, like it's over, and we've reached that scene where it's gonna get so bad, and it's just like, no, I don't want to watch it again.
I really liked how I always remember. They do that whole thing where they mirror the scene, right, where he claws his paws as they're hanging on with Simba, and Simba finds someone. And I remember as I was getting like no longer being 5 years old, having seen the movie. Like I watched it with like my younger brother and sister, where I was closer, like 10, 11 years old. I remember thinking, how does he get up when he's holding both of his paws down? You know what I mean with the claws?
I'm gonna bite his face.
That is a great addition. That was the one thing that they added to this that was really good. Oh, I'm gonna bite his face because he has no choice but to yank me back onto the thing because I have his face in my mouth.
Absolutely. Well, okay, two things. So there's that scene, but then the original scene of Scar throw. The fact that he swats his face to throw him down rather than actually throw him.
Yeah, also grab him with his claws and pick him up and throw him.
Yeah, also a needed change for this more realistic lion situation.
That being said, I like that he still swipes the ash with the paw.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Scar's such a turd.
And I like that they still kept that whole thing with the hyenas turning on him at the end, right? Like,
yeah, that was good. You're also just like, just get him, get him. No Zazu singing in the prison though. That was unfortunate. It's fine.
I forgot about that. what was it that he was singing?
I've got the lovely bunch of coconuts.
That's right.
There they are, standing in the row. Dun, dun, dun. The shuddering over Mufasa's name. I feel like they hinted at it, but they didn't quite go there. They made it more of like a "don't you dare say that name" type thing.
Yeah, it was like, if I ever saw Mufasa again, I'd kill him. He goes, "Oh, now's your chance. He's right there."
It can't be. Yeah. Overall, I mean, it was fun. If I'm going to choose to watch The Lion King, I'm clearly going to choose to watch the animated one.
Well, that's what it was. Is this actually kind of brought back the nostalgia of I would just rather go watch the animated one.
Yeah, which, like I said, which is exactly what
probably
I did
been
when
a
the movie
good
ended.
10, 15 years since I've seen it.
So it's so good. It holds up. It's so good. The fireflies.
The voice performances were unanimously good across the board.
Yeah, they really were.
And it's a pretty star-studded cast too.
You got that JTT, young JTT,
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah. Nathan Lane, man. Oh God, he's so funny. He's just what a wacky person. He's great. I love him in anything that I've seen him in. Oh my God.
I guess admittedly I haven't seen him in a ton of things, but he is funny.
Have you ever seen The Birdcage?
I've seen parts of it.
Oh my goodness. What a tremendous role.
And he's funny. Well, that's him at his most ridiculously egregious and flamboyant. Like, it reminds me it reminds me of the scene from the first season of Archer when Archer has to honeypot the Cuban assassin.
Oh my God.
And he comes in with the bleach blonde hair and the shirt that says "Got Dick," and he's on he's on roller skates and he's got the lollipop and he's sucking on it.
Horrible.
And the other two gay assassins who they don't know are assassins yet. You are so gay it hurts.
That show gets away with so much, but because it's also done very clever and very like tongue in cheek.
Well, the whole thing is they set up the first half of the joke by doing the thing that's objectionable, and then finishing the joke by showing you, yes, this thing is wrong. We're not actually making that joke.
Right.
They do it in the same season where the thing with the Zeppelin, where they're trying
that Zeppelin episode is one of the greatest episodes of television.
It's probably the best episode of the whole show. It is one of my favorites by far, if not my very favorite.
Slapping the cigarette out of the...
God, the helium! What part of this aren't you getting? The core concept, obviously. But they're trying to figure out who the bomber is. He goes, well, obviously, look at Beardy McTurbanhead over there. That's something Singh, and he's a Sikh. He goes, I don't discriminate anyone. He goes, why would he blow it up? He's the primary investor. He goes, oh, what? Just because he invested money in it means that he can't be the one? That's called profiling. I don't do that. It's all a call and response. They're not actually making he's an Arab joke.
Right.
He's probably blowing it up.
It's so, oh my God. I love a good clever joke like that. Clever writing, really. The joke is foolish. It's the writing and the delivery of it that's really what
or the whole there was I think it was the second or third episode of the show. It was probably the third episode of the show where they hire Conway Stern, the diversity hire. The episode is literally called Diversity Hire. And he's a black Jew, so they have to hire him because all of their minority agents have been killed in the field because Archer keeps burning them by calling them when he's way too drunk and outing that they're agents. And Conway Stern was a plant for the Chinese government who knew that they were trying to hire someone of diversity, so he pretended to be Jewish.
Oh my God. I have to watch the rest of that show.
Well, you're still stuck on that trilogy starting season 3 where Archer's in Southeast Asia grief banging his way through the
oh my God.
That's an actual line in the episode.
Yep.
but from Mallory. I think it was Mallory Alana.
Jesus. All right. Do you have anything else on the Lion King?
Oh, that's right. We're doing the Lion King.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Awesome. Well, that's all for this week's episode of Flix in the Six. We hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you have a movie for us to discuss or nuggets for us to chat about, you can send those requests to flixinthesix@spintune.com or tweet us at @thespintune. Tune in next week for more movie and beer goodness. Until then, I'm Anthony Costanzo.
And I'm Al Bielsi.
Thanks for coming out.